interesting observations. We have 1264 in 3 of our regions: healthcare economy, purchasers, digital tools and technology. 1264, 1234 in clinical and business model. Didn't have an 8 or a 7 advance. So that's the first year that we have not had a really low seed, a deep Cinderella that's going to make a run. But it's starting to emerge that we're going to be against each other here in a couple of areas, which is going to make for some exciting conversation. Healthcare economy, round of 16. Private equity versus labor and workforce shortages. Labor. The reason why you guys went with affordability over direct contracting?
I think affordability is really top of mind. I think that depending on great equalizer and looking at what's going on with the economy in general, heading into 2023, I think there's some big question marks. So I say affordability.
Direct contracting is a tactic that touches a piece of healthcare. Affordability is pervasive across every element of healthcare that I've experienced, that we've talked about today. I just think it's a galvanizing force for healthcare, for paying attention. So that one's pretty easy from my perspective.
I think point of both arguments was the level of impact. Direct contracting, although very impactful, you're dealing with a subset of the population versus affordability impacting us all. And again, if we're thinking about the scale of these trends and the impact of these trends, I think affordability comes out on top.
I could see that point. I think the way I thought about it is how can you have an impact on affordability? I thought about direct contracting as having that impact. But if we're thinking about just pure trends, what are folks talking about more broadly, then I agree with you. Actually, affordability is a driver of direct contracting, but it's probably the bigger of the scope.
Yeah, so although I think MA will continue to be a force, I think if you look at most of the vertical integration, a lot of it, you mentioned in your kind of intro comments, was to really align primary care assets under payer assets. The more that happens, the more that's going to put downstream pressure on hospitals and subspecialty care. So the multiplier impact of that is very, very significant. Maybe even in my mind, probably more significant than MA. So for that reason, I had a slight nod to vertical integration.
Medicare Advantage, black; vertical integration, red.
Did you change?
I'm changing.
Oh, switcher, look at that.
Sorry.
David picking up 2 there.
And I hate that.
I see that. Okay.
Yes.
All right, vertical integration. Is it a reasonable argument to make that with primary care transformation comes the reduction of the total cost of care burden? Is that fair to say?
Not necessarily. I think you could accomplish primary care transformation with a direct contracting model that is for primary care services. I don't necessarily think it has to be oriented towards total cost of care.
The outcome of that shouldn't be reducing total cost of care?
In its most mature, if you take it to its full end, yeah. But in a given year, like this year, which is the unit of measure here, maybe it doesn't get you to a total. Changing a care model may not result in that, or be pointed materially at that in the short run.
That's why I would agree. I want to do primary care transformation for our system. I think a lot of systems need to do it, but the primary purpose is not to cut costs for 2023. It's to prepare us for down the road, maybe to potentially cut costs, but not for the next year or so to transform the model.
Got it. Okay. Let's move to, so we got a 2 versus 4 there also. So we've got 3 regions, all 2 versus 4. Let's see if it shakes out the same here. AI versus clinical automation. 4-1, AI. And then cybersecurity versus RPM. Okay, cybersecurity it is. Shahid's Cinderella stays alive.
I know, I'm excited.